unconditional love and how we explore not separateness.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say thank you for bringing that in, and I'm sorry to bust in and do that, but it is an opportunity for us to use
What
this
time
building.
is that? What time is it?
It's from 10 until 5, and people can drop in on the hour, every hour, all day tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks everyone for
Okay.
doing that.
Okay, question?
Yeah, just wanted to add something to what Nick was saying, which I think is spot on about using the momentum we've got at the moment and to actually focus on a single issue, which is the financial system, because it is the foundation of all of the planet and people destroying things that this system does. It is all built on money. I've been a money reformer for a long time now, and way before 2008, money reformers knew 2008 was going to happen because of an understanding. I don't know, I wasn't here at the beginning, so I don't know if Mark mentioned it, but the way money is created, just the essence of money itself and the banking system is such that what is happening in the world can't happen any other way. And there are some organisations that have been focusing on that for quite a while now, and I just want to give people that information so that if we do all focus on the money issue, I think that will help. The first is Positive Money, which is an organisation of people who are money reformers. They work with MPs and stuff like that, and they're very professional. They're all economists, and they come from a point of view that isn't conspiracy theory, so it's very sort of credible.
Can I
But
just ask, is it a question?
no, it's not.
Carry on.
But because they rely on the system that the free man movement has pointed out is fraudulent, I'm not really sure if that's the way to go. The other way I would go is that, and this answers something that Phil was talking about in terms of what the free man movement can do. There's a website called the People's Public Trust, and they are getting together a mass action to do exactly what you said, pay it back, get the money back from the banking bailout. That's a very specific thing, and their whole thing is basically, it's one thing everyone agrees on. If we can actually get something that everyone agrees on, and everyone approached it, because there is a law that public servants must serve the public. And that whole banking bailout thing didn't serve the public, and if we actually stand up and say, you're not serving us, there is an absolute categoric, lawful way of getting that money back. It's called the People's Public Trust. And what you're also saying about how can you extract yourself. I've done that. I've gone and lived in a park and given up a 70 grand a year job and become a poet. So I've all done it, but like Mark, I did it as an individual. So in terms of doing it, if you're part of a family, John Harris does a lot of good stuff, but the part of the free man movement that actually recognises the heart and all the rest of it, that's got it on all levels, you can find them on freetheplanet.net. And there's a bunch of guys there that are really on it, and they've actually created something called the Universal Community of Self-Realisation, which is a trust which allows people, families and organisations and communities to come under the auspices of the trust, and then you don't need to learn all the legal language and stuff like that because they'll take care of it for you. So it's literally waiting for people to join it who want to come out of the system. You have to form a community of like-minded people who are prepared to do what Mark does with free economy and share your sweat equity. So you need to be prepared to do what he's done, but they will take care of all the legal stuff for you. And that's at freetheplanet.net.
Thank you.
The Archbishop Tennyson School, opposite the Oval Cricket Ground, has 2 or 3 magnificent Mirabelle trees. They're the little yellowy, orangey plums. I cannot give people these plums when I'm gathering them off the ground or climbing on the fence. Opposite, diagonally opposite Oval Tube are 5 crabapple trees. When I'm picking the crab apples, which I've endeavoured to persuade people who come here to enjoy it, and there's such a fussy bunch of, I won't say what's, but the slight tang that these sweet little apples have is almost too much for their little tongues to cope with. And if you go to Hercules Road, at the North Lambeth Tube, just by the roundabout by Westminster Bridge, there's a street full of hazelnut trees. And when I've been gathering those in the night with my sister and trying to persuade the public that these are actually delicious, crunchy, edible plant, edible seeds, edible nuts, you cannot give them away. In fact, I've got one of the brothers to actually go along, and one person did I manage to actually realise that this is a crop in the city centre. But another thing is, you have to ask people who have trees which you see visibly covered with fruit, just knock on their doors, because more often than not, they can't be bothered to gather their own fruit. Near the Tesco in Kennington, there's a huge pear tree, and the people in that house never bother to gather their own fruit. So any of you who may have had wonderful pears that I've been bringing in, the windfalls, that's where you can go. You know, it needs people to actually believe that food that is there waiting to be eaten is edible, because really what they're buying, what they really want is polystyrene packaging.
Okay, thank you.
I'm happy to do one or two more if you want.
Okay, want to do it with the lady over there, in which case?
It's not a question to Mark. Could I just ask that the people who have shared all this wonderful information and the names of websites, could they somehow email it to everyone on the Free Economy site or something? Or is there some way to...
Maybe on that point, then I have a website called Free Economy. It's www.justforloveofit.org. Justforloveofit.org. And I guess if somebody here, if anybody's got some kind of, is anybody here willing to take some information, website addresses?
I'll do it. Chances are I'm the one that emailed you all anyway.
So,
I've got your email addresses.
So if you've got a website that you think is useful for the people here, give it to Heather, and she'll email it out on the group email to London. If you're not on the London group, put your marker in London for a day or two, and you're suddenly part of the London group, and then get the hell out of London.
Can I just also say, I've also got a website which is offgrid.com, and anybody who wants to publicise any of this information, just email me, nickrosen@gmail.com. Just email me those web addresses and I'll write a post and put it on there. And I've got a very big audience all over Britain and America. So the email is an easy one, nickrosen, my name, @gmail.com. And the website is offgrid.com. And I'd like to make sure that this conversation kind of grows and develops rather than ending here via our various websites and groups. And a quick word about the squatting movement. I was a squatter for 20 years in London's biggest squat in Gray's Inn Buildings, and I think it's going to be very difficult to end the squatting. There's too much common law for Parliament to be able to overturn it completely, but it is under threat, and I would love the squatting movement to talk to me about these off-grid settlements that I'm planning outside London, because I think that's a way of preserving those communities and those skills that the squatting community has got, if the worst does happen.
Okay, we've got time for a few more questions, please. If we could keep it to questions as opposed to comments as well, that'd be great. You definitely first,
Okay.
lady next to you, and then guy down there, and then we'll call it a day. Cool.
So I'm just asking, actually, if you could, as well as like sending out emails to people, why not make it more immediate? Just have a sheet of paper here. Anyone who's mentioned any website or anything, put it on a sheet of paper. Anyone who's interested.